But Howie's always very. He knows what he's doing, man, in these types of situations. So, um, he is. I've noticed a bit of a theme where he's sort of soft pedaling those expectations that we talked about with Jimmy in just a little bit now. Because I think he realizes it too. And there are a lot of people that are going to be really excited about this season. Um, the Eagles made the playoffs last season, maybe ahead of where they thought they were going to be.
We are your Mag guys here on Birds 365. McMullen and McDonald coming up. Game day Kratz. Eddie Kratz is going to join us in less than 20 minutes from now. I got to
just had a panic moment there, Jody. My computer shut down on me.
Yeah, you did do a little exit stage left. So we're not the, again, technical difficulties come in all shapes and sizes. I admit there was a technical difficulty yesterday. I forgot to log in. I was too busy prepping for the show. Yes, I've overslept once in a year and change, but everybody remembers it and called me out on it on the stream. No, today was actual technical difficulties, and your computer just dropped on you. That's an actual technical difficulty. Yeah. It does happen from time to time.
I was panicked. I got the 10-second green screen of death. I'm like, oh, I'm screwed. Then it just came back.
Yeah, my green screen was the oceans had disappeared. I was in the drink, actually. It was nothing but green behind me when we were getting ready to start the show. I got to give props. Who the heck had it? Someone had it here on the stream saying your buddy Jeff McClain, and I didn't get a chance to punch Jeff up on Twitter, is reporting that the Eagles opener, we know their home opener is going to be week number 2 against the Vikings, the second half of a Monday night twin bill, actually an overlapping Monday night twin bill against Vikings. But he's reporting that the Eagles will open up on the road in Motown against the Lions. Beware your biting of the kneecaps, guys, if you're heading out to Detroit, as per their coach.
I was close. I predicted Chicago. I was close. I was very close.
Right division, however many miles apart. Not a bad way to start a season. Last year they did down in Atlanta. Atlanta turned out to be a below average team, and they were able to log a win. Eagles will be favored week 1 against the Lions in Detroit, will they not?
Oh, yeah. Of course. I mean, the Lions are coming off a terrible season, obviously, almost historically bad. And they haven't made, significant upgrades, certainly at the quarterback position. So no one's going to be looking at the Detroit Lions and saying, oh, they're ready to take off. I think they'll be a little bit better, obviously, anytime you draft as highly as they do. You're going to get some good players, but yeah, I mean, so you start off, I thought it would be Chicago and Minnesota week 1 and week 2. Turns out to be Detroit and Minnesota. It's a good chance to be 2-0 right off the bat. Jimmy Kemp's, you talking about raised expectations? Oh, I think there will be raised expectations, and people do realize the talent at the skill positions put around Jalen Hurts, and that's sort of the first sea change. You mentioned favorite. Yeah, they're going to be favored in both of those 2 games. And they're going to be expected to win both of those games. And that's the change, the beginning of the shift in those expectations.
Yeah, if Minnesota goes out and puts up a 40 spot week 1 and the Eagles lose to the Lions week 1, then they might not be favored week 2. But as of right now, if you were putting out lines on those games, you are correct, John McMullen. They would be favored in both games. So we're expecting a little bit of a fast start. And again, according to Jeff McClain, he's bringing good news. The only 2 games that he's got a pulse on, he's been leaked, gotten his inside information on, were the opener and the game in Dallas this year, according to Jeff McClain, will be played on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's going to be a difficult one. Christmas in Dallas.
Yeah, see, that's I apologize, John. You're my buddy. You're my pal. You're my partner. I appreciate everything you do on a day in, day out basis here on Birds. Yeah, that's on you. You go with the team. I don't. I'm going to be right here watching it on my 60-inch screen on Christmas Eve. You have to go down there. I apologize. Here's the only thing I'm happy about. I'm sorry for you, but I'm happy that they're not playing Week 17. It's not Eagles Cowboys where one of the two teams is going to roll out the JV because they've already established where they're going to be in the postseason. It's before that. That's a good thing. Eagles may go into the same exact position this year against a Giant team or a Redskin team. It's not the same as a Dallas team that you're going up against. I'm just happy that, sorry for you, Johnny Mac, it's Christmas Eve rather than Week 7.
Well, it's more of Dallas is not the worst place to be. I mean, first of all, they're going to have the first class spread because that's what Jerry Jones does. It's certainly on Christmas.
Are you thinking turkey and all the trimmings?
Oh, yeah, it's like a 4-star restaurant there, Jody. It's unbelievable the spread they put out. Yeah, so that's the best place to be for that type of thing. You just got to explain it to the wives and all that kind of stuff, which is never easy, but it is what it is. Nobody cares about our problems.
Right, and I think I said thanks to Dank Burrett on the stream who said, Jody keeps saying Week 17. No, Week 18, Game 17 is what scares me, that they could have been playing Dallas, and I want both games against the Cowboys this year to mean something. All right, let me get completely off track. Did you see this story about the mayor of Dallas wanting a second team?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I didn't give it much more than 10 seconds of thought, but
God bless them if they think they can. We've got two teams in New York. We got two teams in LA. Dallas is a pretty big city, and it stone cold loves its football. The NFL doesn't need another team in college.
And Jerry Jones would never allow it. Are you kidding me? I say this all the time. I don't think people realize the power Jerry Jones has in the NFL. He's got his thumb in about 15 stadiums now across the country with his Legends hospitality, which is kind of I think a partnership with the Yankees still. And so anytime these new stadiums go up, he's got his, he's making money off them, basically. He's always been sort of the lead guy on the TV negotiation committee, which is probably the most powerful position. He's not letting another team in Dallas, even if they could support it. And look, from that standpoint, Dallas is probably more football hungry than certainly Los Angeles. And, maybe not New York. New York's issues have been bad football teams for far too long. But when, they're half decent, obviously New York fans are very passionate. But no, not in a million years would Jerry Jones allow. Why would he agree to share the market? Makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I was same as you. Read it, said, yeah, that's not happening, and moved on. But I just it crawled into my consciousness. How badly would the Philadelphia fan base despise Dallas team 2? The coach doesn't like when we call him cornerback 2 or TE2. Dallas 2 would be the team there. There'd be no issue, right? It's the Cowboys.
No,
it's the star. It's not the town.
No.
Because we don't necessarily hate the Mavs or the Rangers came to town, 1-2 games. Nobody got all that ticked off. They were more ticked off at the Phillies than the opposition. It's just a Cowboy thing.
Yeah, right? There's no history. There's no with a new team. It's and it would be an expansion team most likely. So I mean, it'd probably be bad on top of it to begin. Philadelphia fans could care less. It's about the star. It's about, and it's really about, and I don't think, and you can talk to this as well, Jody, I don't think it's as hateful as it once was. I think, the rivalry really was sparked when the Cowboys were great in the Roger Staubach era, and they were just dominant, and Tom Landry, and they were killing the Eagles year after year after year. And then there was the big Wilbert Montgomery game, and so much joy of finally beating the Cowboys. Now it's they've been okay. They're not the Roger Staubach Cowboys. They're not the Troy Aikman, Emmett Smith, Michael Irvin Cowboys. I think with the newer, younger group, I don't think there's quite as much angst because they haven't suffered that much pain. Um, some pain. I mean, it's still a huge rivalry. It's still the biggest rivalry by far, I think, for the Eagles fan base. But I don't think it's as bad as it once was because they no longer beat up on you. They used to beat up on you.
All right. Before we get Eddie Kratz to jump aboard with us, got to give some props to our boys, Rob Ellis, Barrett Brooks, D Gun, that Howie Roseman here on the channel yesterday. If you didn't see the interview, if you didn't hear about it, you didn't know about it, it's still available to you. You want to go back and watch it. Here's the thing that I was, I would say, most buoyed by, John, from what I heard from Howie Roseman yesterday. Jeff Lurie now likes Alabama players. That's a good thing to know. That the owner has become cognizant of the fact that they have some good football players coming out of Alabama, and look for the Eagles to be able to get their hands on them going forward because the owner's now an Alabama guy.
Yeah, well, he's probably going to be a Georgia guy after this year, so we'll see. Just focus on the SEC. Just make it simple. How we talked about it, sometimes it's simple. Um, and the way college is going because of NIL and all that stuff, it's even going to get more centered on the really, really good teams. So, there's going to be some other ones, Ohio State and Oklahoma, probably, maybe even Notre Dame on an odd year here and there. But, focus on the superstar programs and you're going to be fine.
All right, what did you take from yesterday's Howie Roseman appearance here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel? He say anything that surprised you, anything that enlightened you, or did you think Howie played it cards pretty close to the best?
He played it pretty close to the best. He did tell some good stories, and how he's getting better with the joke telling. It's very important to him. He got a couple guffaws. I think that's the most important thing to him. I think he's, his secret desires to be a stand-up comedian. But Howie's always very, he knows what he's doing, man, in these types of situations. So he is, I've noticed a bit of a theme where he's sort of soft pedaling those expectations that we talked about with Jimmy in just a little bit now. Because I think he realizes it too. And there are a lot of people that are going to be really excited about this season. The Eagles made the playoffs last season, maybe ahead of where they thought they were going to be. Not maybe, definitely ahead of where they thought they were going to be. Now you add difference makers to that mix, and the fact that A.J. Brown and Jordan Davis are here. And now it's about, well, you're better than the Cowboys. We just talked about Jimmy's all NFC East team. He said they're essentially better than the Cowboys from a talent perspective. So that's where you are. And I've noticed it a couple times, and he did it again yesterday here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. It's like, we'll see, settle down. But I will say offensively, Matt, there are no excuses for Jalen Hurts. There's no more of this young, developing, he can get better. He doesn't have the weapons to get better. And again, injuries could change all this. We always throw that in there. But I don't know how much more you could ask for as a quarterback in this league when you talk about Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, that offensive line. And the running backs are, They're not great, but they had the number one rushing offense in the league last year because of the offensive line. And Miles Sanders sat there up with this. Miles Sanders practically admitted he had a bad season last year, Jody, which he did from a complete standpoint.
0 touchdowns.
And I know you're putting up 0 touchdowns. But you know what he did do? Averaged 5.5 yards per carry. And I joked that would make Jim Brown blush. I mean, that's pretty stinking good. 5.5 yards per carry. Now, we all know the issues with Miles and receiving and pass protection. Doesn't take what's blocked at times. And he's really, really focused, but he's really, really talented as well. I don't know if he's ever going to unlock the key to his potential. But 5.5 yards per carry, Jody. And, you know, that's not good enough. That's if that's your weakness, count yourself lucky.
Right, but we also know the running back game is more than just yards per carry. That's a big part of it. The ability to get in the end zone does matter. Ability to catch the ball out of the backfield does matter, which is not a strong suit of Miles Sanders. That's why we're not bending over backwards saying we got to get a contract done with Miles Sanders because he's got to be the running back.
Well, and I agree, it's a weakness. I'm not saying I'm saying, but if that's your biggest weakness, that's not bad because everybody's got weaknesses. And if your weakness can still get you 5.5 yards per carry, but you're getting touchdowns from everybody else, well, who cares? You're still getting touchdowns. I mean, Jalen Hurts, how many rushing touchdowns? Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell. Like they were getting rushing touchdowns. It was sort of, they were just not using Miles for that role. Pretty good weakness is how I would describe it.
That'll tell you how motivated the Eagles actually are to getting a contract extension done with Miles Sanders. If they don't have confidence enough to use him down by the goal line, that's a bad sign for.
And I don't think they will get it. I don't think they want an extension. I don't think they'll use an extension. I'm just saying it. That's the big weakness,
right? But you're talking about the big weakness. If he's 5 point and it's a big deal, don't you have a contract extension done with him?
Yeah, but I'm saying what I'm saying is if that's your biggest weakness, that's good. I'm saying yeah, they're probably not interested in a contract extension. Miles is probably not going to be here next year. I've been saying it longer than probably anybody. But what I'm saying is if that's your biggest weakness on offense, that's pretty good because I can look at every other team in this league and pick out weaknesses that are probably worse than Miles Sanders in the Eagles running game. That's my point.
My point is, who said their running game is their biggest weakness?
Well, I'm saying it on paper. A.J. Brown, well, what is on paper? I'll ask you, is it the tight end? Is it the wide receivers? Is it the offensive line?
It's the guy who stands behind the center.
And that's why there's no excuses for Jalen Hurts. I was putting Jalen Hurts aside. I'm saying as far as what Jalen Hurts doesn't have, what is the biggest weakness?
If you're asking me if you're just looking at the passing game and the running game, yes, with the addition of AJ Brown, I would now rank the talent on the passing game ahead of the talent.
Well, and the offensive line as well. The offensive line is a big part of it, and offensive line is arguably certainly top 5. It could be the best in the NFL. So all I'm saying is if you're Jalen Hurts, there's no excuses anymore. There's no excuses.
And since we know who they'll be playing the first 2 weeks, I would rank both the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings in the bottom half of defenses in the National Football League. Maybe bottom third with Detroit.
Certainly were last year. Yeah,
Detroit's
they were terrible.
Defense stinks. Minnesota's second half. Would you put them in the bottom third of the NFL defense?
Oh, they were bottom 5 last year. They were terrible.
Then, Jalen, you better be putting up points in weeks 1 and 2 because the expectation, despite the reservation of your general manager here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, he tried to temper the enthusiasm. No, Eagle fans will not allow that. you need to put up some points the first 2 weeks against 2 beatable defenses. McMullen and McDonald, your Mac and Mac guys, here with you on Birds 365. We got game day cracks next. Stick around.